It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
Well, it's a Sunday morning and time to talk about cars. You're listening to Test Miles on FM News 101 KXL, live from our downtown studios in Portland. Good Sunday morning to you. If you're a car guy, this is definitely the place to be. Lots of stuff going on the show this morning. We've got 4 great laps to talk about. On this morning's show, we'll be finding out about what cars we've been driving. Some really cool cars, actually. I have a whole bunch of them in my stable. Also been talking about, we're going to be talking about the brand new Kia Optima. We're going to have one of their product guys come in and tell us what's cool about the new Kia Optima and why they actually made a new one. And finally, something big is happening in Portland with Jaguar Land Rover. They have a tech center here where they are designing the car of the future. What will it look like? Will it actually have a coffee machine, a microwave? We'll find all about that from Matt Jones, who is the guy that's in charge of that tech center. So what have we been driving this week on the show? Well, I have to say that I've had a pretty good week. I came back from the airport yesterday, or on Friday, to find myself a nice Mercedes-Benz S600 Maybach. This is almost a limousine. It's sort of the stretch version of the S-Class. They are going to make a Pullman version of this car, which is it's just going to be out of this world. It has curtains on the inside, drapes, I guess you'd call them in America, and everything you need. Oh, this vehicle does have, the back seat is far more interesting than the front seat. Airline-style tables that fold out from the inside, champagne fridge, silver champagne goblets, cushions, massage seats, reclining seats, television screens, remote controls, headphones, and everything else you could possibly want to possibly live in the car. The only thing missing, shower and bathroom facilities.
I almost feel robbed sitting in the front of that with you.
Absolutely. It's all about the back.
Yeah, all about the back.
What's the bad side of this car? V12
not
engine.
To drive it?
Okay, not kidding. Not being able to own one at $190,000. The bad side of this car is a V12 engine. So I put my foot down and I watched the percentage of gas go down on the inside of the car. It was pretty disheartening. Rear-wheel drive, 523 horsepower, that 6-liter V12 engine, 20 miles per gallon is the best you get on the highway, 12 miles a gallon around the city. I think I'm probably getting closer to 6 miles a gallon out of this vehicle.
20 miles on the highway, was that like cruise control downhill?
Yes, with the wind behind you. What's its competition? Yeah, its competition is beach house, second home. That's what we're talking about as far as competition is concerned. It's been $190,000 starting price. $190,275, by the way. It is almost silent, though. Really beautifully put together, and this very nice blue interior lighting. Sort of at night, it looks great. The tech in this vehicle is absolutely outstanding. No gauges on the inside. No speedometer. Nothing. It's just 2 big screens up front. One for all your infotainment navigation and the other one for all of your vehicle controls. So what does that mean? Things like night vision are really easy to use in the car. Stick the night vision on. It looks really great.
That was cool. I like playing with that.
Yeah, see down the road in the night vision. Pillow soft everything. Massage this, that. But still no microwave and coffee maker, which, I think most Americans are going to need in a car at some point, at least. Really nice. What else have I been driving? Another impressive vehicle, but not quite as impressive as the Mercedes Maybach. Impressive vehicle in the Honda Pilot, five-door, 7-seater crossover, SUV. I'd call it a mid-size SUV. Flexible, roomy. They've done a great job with this vehicle. The last one, a little chunky, a little boxy. The new one, much better, much easier to drive. Still not a big fan of this push-button transmission thing. Find it hard. Acura Honda have gone to it. Nobody I know is a big fan of it. I'm sure I'll get used to it and I'll learn to live with it, but I have to look at it every time. And maybe it's because I'm only driving the vehicle for a week at a time, but I have to look at it to work out which button to press.
Yeah, don't you think that's about it? Because I feel like driving after a week, I start getting used to it, but it's like, it is hard to get used to as you just hop into the vehicle, especially if you need to make an emergency U-turn or something and have to back the car up. It's like trying to find that reverse button. kind of complicated.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quick changes are difficult. 3.5 liter V6, 280 horsepower, a 6-speed automatic transmission. Sorry, 6-speed auto transmission or a 9-speed auto, depending on what you want. Front wheel, all-wheel drive, 27 miles a gallon. A little bit better than the Maybach. 27 miles a gallon on the highway, combined of 23. What does it go up against? Explorer, Pathfinder, Highlander, Durango, Chevy Traverse, Kia Sorento. There's a bunch of cars in this class. In fact, we have a TV piece coming up. So the 5 best mid-size non-luxury SUVs in the class. Comes in 5 different trim levels, the LX, the EX, the EXL, the Touring, and the Elite. Kind of like the Elite version of this. When you start to look at it, Elite seems to be a lot more better. $29,995, very reasonable. I think that's a pretty good price. Probably about $35 by the time you've stocked it out to what you want. Sean, what have you been driving?
I've been driving the Mazda CX-5, and it's 5-passenger compact crossover. Comes in 2 different engine choices, 2-liter Skyactiv 4-cylinder and the 2.5-liter Skyactiv engine. It comes in a manual transmission, but only in the sport model if you'd like one. Other than that, you get a 6-speed automatic, front wheel, all-wheel drive. This car is actually really nice and fun to drive. Its competition is the Chevy Equinox, Ford Escape, Toyota RAV4, and the Honda CR-V. And I feel out of all of them, this is the best handling out of any of the, SUVs. Comes in 3 packages, the Sports, Touring, and Grand Touring. Has some great tech with their Mazda Connect, which basically is a larger screen with only 5 icons on it, so it's really easy to navigate.
Yeah, they did some tests over at Mazda that told them that nobody could intake more than 5 pieces of, I think it's 7 pieces of information at once, but they've got 5 icons and then there's 2 other pieces of information on the screen.
It's easy once you get used to everything. It is a little different. Does take about couple minutes to get used to it versus other navigation systems, but once you do, it's easy to operate while you're driving. Starting cost for it is $21,795, and if you hit every checkbox, it's a little over $36,000.
That's not too bad. Still the best fuel economy of a compact crossover.
26 combined, yeah.
26 combined, like 35 in the manual 2-wheel drive, though, right?
I didn't really look into the manual 2-wheel drive. I'd like to actually.
You did look into the manual?
No.
I mean, first of all, this is an SUV that comes in a manual.
I know.
That's got to be the good part.
I do want to try the manual out someday, but I wonder if it'll ever come in the press fleet, is the thing.
I think they probably put a manual 2-wheel drive in the press fleet just because people who wanted to see the.
I think it'd be awesome to try it out, just see what it's like.
I'm getting old. This is the bad thing that happens is I used to be all about manual diesels, and for my whole family has, which is really weird for me, they have Discoveries in England, Land Rover Discoveries. They have the diesel manual versions. And to see my aunt change gear in a Land Rover Discovery really hurt my head because it didn't make any sense to me because I've never seen one before. So the whole family, like 4 members of the family all have these vehicles. I used to be all about the manuals, and it's great when you have open roads and you have long ways to go, but boy.
When you get in traffic, it is
on I-84
horrible.
with a manual, I actually physically get cramps in my right leg.
I'm the same way now. It's like I love manuals when you can go up into the mountains and there's nothing in front of you, but sitting on I-5, no.
I got to drive that Aston Martin DB10, the new James Bond car last week, and it has a brake, the manual brake, handbrake, which is really great about it. And it's on the right-hand side. And I mentioned this to Matt Clark from Aston Martin. I said, it's the gear shifts. It's on the right-hand side instead of in the middle. He goes, yes, it's on the correct side. So I got told with that one. But I'm still, I'm starting to be like, automatic is much easier for me to drive. You know, I mean, and true, you can get better fuel economy now in automatic. The systems can jump all over the manuals, and with especially companies like Subaru, they've got the automatics down so much so that their vehicles now, it's almost as fun to drive as the manual.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, the dual clutch in some of the cars are way better performance-wise than even the manual. So it's just so much technology that's gone into them.
All right, coming up on the show, we're going to talk to Derek Tai. He is a product manager from Kia. Derek will tell us all about the new Optima. My big question for Derek is why change it? It was an awesome car. I'm not sure why they had to do that. Also, Matt Jones is going to be in studio. He is heading up the tech center here in Portland for Jaguar Land Rover. Probably didn't know that Jaguar Land Rover's tech center was here, did you? Well, it's here. They're making the car of the future. We're going to find out about all the inside scoop. That's coming up on Test Miles, FM News 101 KXL. Good Sunday morning to you.
It's Test Miles on FM News 101. Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
Do you like to get dressed up as a zombie? I'm looking for some zombies to join us on a special TV segment. Just messages at Twitter. It's at Test Miles.
Here's a fun fact. Kia started out as a manufacturer of steel tubes and bicycle parts.
All right, well, they've come a long way. The Kia Optima is a mid-size four-door sedan manufactured by Kia Motors since 2000 and marketed globally. Various nameplates. The first-generation car was mostly marketed as the Optima, although in Kia's, it was also actually called the Magentis. It was a name used in Europe and Canada when sales began there in 2002. So we're into the fourth generation of the vehicle. The 2016 is most famous because it's really highly competitive against things like the Toyota Camry, which is the best-selling sedan in North America, and the Honda Accord. So why is Optima such good competition? Well, for a start, that 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, the famous Kia warranty. Second of all, it gives lots of bang for the buck, but it's also a fun drive. It's light handling and nimble. You can obviously tell I spent some time driving it. But let's be honest, the last generation was pretty good. So joining us on the phone is Derek Tai from Kia. Derek, why a new generation of the Kia Optima? I thought the last one was really great.
Hi, good morning. So the new Optima is such an amazing car. It's passionately designed and obsessively crafted, and I'm so excited the extensive amount of refinement we put in the new Optima. So like you said, the previous generation Optima put us in the map. Now this tops it off with all the right touches. We've improved ride-and handling, improved aerodynamics. We retuned both engines for retuned improved efficiency, and now we have a new 1.6 turbo with a higher efficiency engine and more driver-assisted technology available now on all trim levels and many, many Kia firsts.
So let's talk about the exterior. What did you change, Derek, on the outside of the Kia Optima? Because you've done some small changes. It's got a little bit bigger, but I'm one of those guys that have to see them next to each other to really tell what the changes are.
Well, the new Optima is bolder, more refined, and more sophisticated. So what you'll see is more sophisticated lines. So to start off, we have a refreshed Tiger Nose grille, very similar to the K900, a similar process that we adopted from the K900. We have a new Kia First Bi-Xenon and HID headlights, which includes a dynamic bending light and high beam assist. What the advantages of this new headlight system is that it's very helpful in dark, curvy roads. And what it does is it provides bright, crisp white lights in both high beams and low beams, and the lights bend in the direction of your steering. So it follows the direction of where the vehicle is going. And then as far as that, we also have Kia First is autonomous emergency braking and advanced smart cruise control. So all these are, you will see in the front end of the vehicle. And then along the sides, we have 4 different wheels. We have incorporated the signature greenhouse of the Kia Optima. And as well as in the rear trunk, we have multiple types of dynamic taillights, which we both have 2 types of LEDs and dual exhaust fenders.
So now let's talk a little bit about this, that daylight opening space for Kia. You have actually a piece of chrome that runs from front to back. That's very significant. That's something you've kept from the previous models. But I think probably the biggest changes on the car is the amount of luxury appointments, especially like quilted seats on the inside. Now, we've seen that in Designo in the interiors of things like Maybach and Mercedes-Benz, but I haven't ever seen quilted seats before. So that's something that Kia have decided to do up and above what's normally seen in a non-luxury sedan, right?
That's correct. We believe providing products that revenue songs you want to tailor it to. So what we're seeing is that there's a lot more fashion trends being incorporated, and what we want to do is we want to incorporate that into our vehicle. And now on the SXL, for example, we have three types of this seating. We have a black quilted seat, have an ivory color pack, and as well as our new aubergine interior, which is a plum-like color.
Now, let's talk about some of the tech on the inside of the car, because obviously that's what a lot of our listeners love to hear about, the latest gadgets, the latest things that they can push button. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, those go into the cars. You're one of the first manufacturers to put those in, as well as some real updates to the UVO system.
That is correct. In our UVO system, we have added, so starting with the AVN system, we have our SoundHound app, and we have added geofencing, curfew alert, speed alert, and driving score in the UVO system. As you mentioned, in our navigation system, we are now offering Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And what this does is that it allows the user to sync their phone to the audio system, and they're able to review their music, messaging, navigation, and voice calls through the 8-inch touchscreen display.
Let's talk about fuel economy of the new Kia Optima and the fourth generation, and also talk about starting price and when it's going to be available. So how has the fuel economy changed? What are we looking at?
So as far as the fuel economy, so we have our 2.4 engine paired with a 6-speed AT. We have improved that fuel economy by 3 miles per gallon. That's offered on the LX 2.4 engine or LX trim with a 2.4 engine. And in terms of price, we have managed to carry over that same price point of $21,840, and it'll be available end of the month as we speak. As far as the new other powertrains, we have 2-liter turbo engine and a new 1.6 turbo engine. So the 2-liter turbo engine has been retuned for improved fuel economy, improving fuel economy on the non-panel roof, 2 miles per gallon, and vehicles with the panel roof, and all these gadgets and gizmos such as the driver-assisted technologies, and for an additional 1 miles per gallon. And what we've done is, other than retuning it for improved fuel economy, we've also retuned it to have maximum torque at a lower RPM at about 1,300, which is where you need it the most in stop-and-go traffic. We have added a new powertrain, a new 1.6 turbo paired with a 7-speed DCT. This is a Kia first. And what this does is that it focuses on improved fuel economy without sacrificing performance. So if you compare this to our 2.4, it adds additional 2 miles per gallon from the 2.4 engine, and you have the fun-to-drive experience with the 7-speed DCT.
Excellent. Well, it was definitely a fun drive. Got to drive it through the hills around Aspen. Great drive, very light, nimble handling. Big sort of thing for Kia is that nimble handling. And one of the things I do love, Derek, is I do love that UVO system, the tattle text, as I like to call it, system in the car, which lets parents know or other people know if somebody goes outside the geofencing. That's always good, especially if you have young teens who are starting to drive. You just want to be able to keep an extra eye on them. All right, we're looking forward to seeing the car in showroom soon. Derek Tai from Kia, thanks for joining us on this morning's show. Sean, this is probably one of the cars that you have had, you've actually sold to more of your friends. More of your friends have bought this than any other, right?
Yeah, I always. And anytime I have one, I'll let someone drive it and they turn around and go buy it. I think I've sold probably 5 of them now.
Yeah, me too. And I think this, probably the MDX is the one luxury car that I end up recommending to people. But the Kia Optima is probably the most purchased car by my family and friends. And the new one, actually, I just had a hard time getting my head around why they'd made some changes. But once you get into it, we're so close to a luxury vehicle now in the Kia Optima. All right, coming up on Test Miles, we're going to be talking Land Rover Jaguar. That's all in their new tech center, which is here in Portland. Plus, do you have a great idea for a new company? You might better get some money, some support, some some coaching out of Jaguar Land Rover because they're looking for people who have tech companies to come join them in the next generation of automobiles for the United States. It's Test Miles. It's a Sunday morning. It's FM News 101 KXL, and I'm Nick Miles.
Throw it in neutral and coast in with testmiles.com. Favorite us, tweet us, friend us, love us, all at testmiles.com.
Live from our studios, downtown Portland, Sunday morning. This is America's Car Radio Show. We thank you for being part of the Car Nation. For more fun facts about cars, Facebook's the place to go. We are Test Miles ENT, Test Miles Entertainment.
Here's a fun fact to impress your friends. The Range Rover was first available to the United States car market in 1986.
What year were you born, Jenya?
2001.
All right. The Range Rovers were on sale for 15 years before you were born.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just got it right. Hey, do you know that? Do you know where the place called Silicon Forest is? Anybody? Any ideas? You know where Silicon Forest is? Well, it's you probably know where Silicon Valley is, and you probably don't know where Silicon Forest is. Well, it just happens to be that space of land between Hillsborough and Forest Grove has become a magnet for high-tech companies, Tektronix, Intel, Infocus, Planar, Pixelworks, Hewlett-Packard, Xerox, Epson, and many, many more. So this is one of the reasons that Jaguar Land Rover picked Portland to put their new facility in. So what is that new facility? What does it do, and how does it relate to the Jaguar Land Rover of the future? Joining us in studio, Matt Jones. He's the brains behind the operation. Matt, what do you do here in Portland?
What do I do? That's a really good question, Nick. Thank you. So I'm the head of Future Infotainment, which sounds really impressive. But ultimately, it's my job and my team's jobs in the US and the Pearl District and in the UK as well, to figure out exactly what the customer's going to want. Not now, but in a few years' time.
I just want a job where I can have entertainment in my entitled Future Entertainment or Futuretainment.
That's basically it. And if you think about everything you find in a car today, you've got the TV, you've got the satellite radio, you've got all of the telephony systems, the sat-nav, the DVD players, the Blu-ray. It's my team's job, possibly the best jobs in the world, to figure out how all of that goes together. But it's becoming even more exciting. Now we've got the connectivity. You've got that iPad, that iPhone experience in the vehicle.
Right, so you're designing what our cars will look like when? 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25 years?
It's even sooner than that. If you think you've got your smartphone in your pocket now,
right,
when you see that app that comes on the App Store that day, right, you kind of want that to work in the vehicle.
Right.
And it's my job to figure out how not just Jaguar Land Rover, but automotive in general can really reduce those timescales. So literally it can be 3, 6, 9 months, right the way out to 15 years.
So you have this facility in the Pearl. You have probably some of the biggest brain power in the area in there. These guys just dreaming up how all this tech stuff works. And you also have, I mean, I've been through the facility. It's pretty impressive. You have the biggest video game wall, by the way, jealous.com right here, I've ever seen. But I know you like to call it a simulator, because if you call it a video game wall, you probably couldn't get it funded as well. But you have this giant wall that's as big as a movie theater where you can drive cars.
We do. We have, we call it the vehicle simulator. As we say, it does play games very well. It's over 40 foot around. You can park a full-size car inside it.
Right.
But then, better than that, we have our own vehicle sim, so you can drive through a Unity game engine. It's just like playing the games. We use that, though, for the next generation of features. If you think we said about that app, how do we know that it's safe for the driver to use? Luckily, we don't let people out on the roads of Portland straight away. We test it in this dedicated facility first.
The technology in the facility is unbelievable. I mean, you know, like I consider myself a consumer tech specialist, but not necessarily a behind-the-scenes guy. So you take us into this back room. First of all, to get into the back room, when you took me in there, you're using
iris scanning technology.
Iris scan. You know, it's like James Bond right there. And doors opening and stuff once you get inside. And then the power of the amount of internet capability you have. You told me how many homes it would serve.
If we were Comcast, we could feed 1,500 homes at the highest speed that Comcast offer in the Portland area.
And that's just in one
room. Or we have got 40 engineers, so you can understand, with a lot of YouTube playing. But more importantly, we could take data from over 100,000 cars simultaneously back to our center.
Oh. Are your engineers allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons in their lunch break?
It's really weird that you say that. We've just taken on some new graphics guys, and they've taken over one of the rooms every lunchtime. It's not my thing. They can do whatever they want to do.
Magic the Gathering is being played in your office.
I'm the pinball guy, but they can do the magic.
That's hilarious. Does this facility really make sense?
It really does to us. If you think about the cars of the future, it's all about the experience inside. Now, Jaguar Land Rover have been leading infotainment for many, many years. But we need to up our game. We need to really start competing with Silicon Valley. In order to do that, we need the brightest, the best graphics designers, because that's what you see and feel in the vehicle. We need the best coders who really want to make a difference, not do the same project every day, but work on maybe 20, 30, 40 different projects, all of which they can touch and feel, and hopefully see in our future product.
So you're constantly, presumably, looking for some of the sharpest talent in the region to come in and join you and apply for jobs at the facility, to be your engineers. They can either hack the head of Secret Services account or come work for you. Those are so you're looking for the brainiacs amongst us.
We're looking for somebody that's got the creative feel, that wants to design graphics or look at how we integrate screens into the future vehicles, right the way down to like C++ and Linux coders. But the best bit is we don't just work on the Jaguar Land Rover products. We work through alliances like the Linux Foundation and Geneva. So our work gets to be seen straight away, and anybody from a student at PSU right the way through to somebody in India or even another car company, their work through the open source community is seen straight away.
So you're forging ahead with this as a community rather than just as Jaguar Land Rover, and Jaguar Land Rover kind of along for the ride, to design their future car. Let's talk about some of the things you've designed. What sort of things? I mean, you've been doing some facial recognition stuff. You've been doing some drone stuff, self-driving car stuff. Your fingers in many pies.
Many pies. At any point, we've got over 20 projects. Some of the really interesting ones that have just come out in the last week. So when you were over last, you saw that we'd integrated Twitter with the vehicle, which is kind of cool. You can see why that. Now we've integrated it so that by tweeting your vehicle, you can change the settings. So if you know you're going to go to the vehicle and you want the temperature at a certain size, you tweet your vehicle. And it recognizes it's from your Twitter account through the security on it. And you can prepare that just for you.
So does your car have to have its own hashtag? And
Indeed.
Hashtag sexy Jag.
That's the one. Exactly right.
That's nice. Driverless cars, how are you doing with those? Is that something you're working on, or is that just a side project?
We have side projects going on that we're working on with other companies. But really for us, we're focused on what is today, what do customers do? And the reason we're focusing on what the passenger experience is, maybe on the rear seat entertainment system, or even the passenger seat in the front of the vehicle. When we do get semi-autonomous vehicles, and they're coming, we can see that, or even autonomous vehicles, all of the learning that we've got from the passengers, that's going to relate to the driver as well. You're still in that space, and we feel that we're prepared for the future.
Let me ask you one last question before we take a break, but some of the things like facial recognition software, am I going to be able to look at things in my car in the future and then just have it happen? And when I can look over at the volume button and it's going to change, or am I going to be able to do things like unlock my car with my face?
Definitely lock the car. We've shown that as a demo today. And actually last CES in January, partnering with Intel, another fantastic Portland area company, we actually demonstrated that we know what you're looking at in the vehicle. So we know if you're looking down at the screen, we know if you're looking at a tree, if something else outside the vehicle. And that's kind of powerful if you think what could come next.
And now I'm not only going to get thumped by my other half for looking at things on the street I shouldn't be looking at, but I'm also going to get thumped by the car for not looking at the right things. Matt Jones is here from Jaguar Land Rover. We are talking about the future tech of cars from their Portland base here. We're also going to talk about their incubator project, an opportunity for you to get involved with them. That's coming up on Test Miles, listening to FM News 101 KXL. It's a Sunday morning. We're talking cars, and Matt Jones is our guest. I'm Nick Miles.
It's Test Miles on FM News 101. Like NASCAR, but with one right turn. Testmiles.com.
Live from our studios downtown Portland, Sunday morning. This is America's Car Radio Show. I'd like to thank you for being part of the Car Nation. For more fun facts about cars, go to our Facebook pages. Just remind you that we'd like to do a TV segment with zombies. We're talking about this in the break, the zombie run. So we're hoping everybody that's been doing the zombie run in downtown Portland, if you'd like to be a zombie on our TV segment, get in touch with us at Twitter at TestMiles. And that's it. Yeah, if you're a zombie, you can show up in makeup. It'll be Halloween morning. We've got a great live TV segment that we'd love to try and put together with you. All right, Matt Jones here from the Jaguar Land Rover facility here in the Pearl District. And not only have you got this high-tech center, Matt, but you've also got a center to stimulate young, up-and-coming companies and talent, don't you?
Absolutely. In just a week's time, we're opening our second office in downtown Portland. And this one's called the Jaguar Land Rover Tech Incubator. Basically, we're looking for startups to come and work with Jaguar Land Rover. We'll pay the money. We'll make sure that they don't run out of pizza. But more importantly, they get to interact with Jaguar Land Rover on a daily basis.
Wait, is there free Magic the Gathering cards too?
We're going to steer clear of the Magic the Gathering references, but we do have free sodas and free pinball, which is probably more important for me.
Yes, absolutely. Let's ask you, what kind of companies are you looking for? So if somebody out there has a great idea, they want to know if they fit into your mold, what are your parameters?
Well, they can be anything from maybe 2 to 6 to 8 people. Most importantly, if you can think of an idea that you can imagine people wanting to use in the next generation of car, which could be anything from a list application that reminds you you've got no milk in your fridge, to something that connects that car to outer space, to anything along those lines.
I've got a challenge for you then. So one thing those people that know me well know I used to be a paramedic for 911 in Portland. And I've seen some of the other car companies come up with some interesting technology. But one of the things I think is missing, I think we have all the components to do this. And somebody could take this idea and run with it. You guys could take this idea and run with it. Maybe I should issue a challenge to you. We have cameras on the inside and the outside of these cars. So let's say you're in an accident and the camera obviously is activated after the accident, after the airbags go off. It should send a signal that pictures you, the driver, and what happened in the accident. So a doctor in a hospital can see, oh, his head hit the side pillar, or he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. But at the same time they could see you after the accident, and it could be beamed straight to an ER or maybe the OHSU's medical trauma center, and they could see, this is how he looks. And then the doctor can go, we need life flight for this, or we need a trauma bay for this. They can look at the accident in the car. Is that something you could do?
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Right.
But this isn't just
challenge issued and accepted.
Challenge is accepted. But let's do this live as well. Let's do this in the open so all of the listeners and everybody else can see what's going on over the next, say, 3 to 6 months. But let's issue a challenge to the listeners as well. If anybody thinks that they can add any use cases or add anything to this, and the challenge that Nick's just set is using the cameras inside and outside the vehicle to alert paramedics, maybe firefighters, maybe police or anybody else in the future, and stream that off. If you think you can add to that, get in touch.
All right, so how do people get in touch with you for this and for the incubator project?
So if you go to jlrtechincubator.com, you'll be able to find our contact details.
All right.
But for this open challenge, I guess they could use your Twitter handle as well?
Yeah, so we can do @TestMiles. Sean, can you make sure you put that up on our Facebook page as well, so people can get hold of Matt that way? So, incubator project, you're looking for people who have ideas of something could work. And give me an example of something that maybe you've considered, or some things you may consider. Would it be anything as frivolous as a microwave or a coffee maker?
It could be, if there was something new that we can add to that microwave or coffee maker.
Right.
But one of the bits that we're working on at the moment is with a local company called Vonsor, VONSOR. And they've got fantastic technology that takes the camera feeds that we've been talking about over the last couple of minutes, integrates that with adverts, posts it directly to your Twitter, to your Facebook, to your YouTube account, directly from the vehicle,
So
from a
people
device.
can watch me driving to work?
If you choose to let them, that is completely possible.
Not sure I
The
want
customer
that.
is always in control.
I don't know how much of that I want.
But can you imagine if you were driving round Mount Hood or something like that, you saw an amazing waterfall,
Yeah.
you can very rapidly edit that video down. And not just the forward-facing camera, all of those cameras that you've got around the vehicle, and post that live to your YouTube.
Right. Actually, I mean, it does sound kind of cool. I could think of maybe a food replicator was what people would want in a car, but I think we're probably a little away from that technology right now.
I'm guessing you're hungry this morning.
Yeah. It's Sunday morning, it's breakfast time. A lot of interesting things that comes to mind, safety, security, entertainment, comfort measures, all those type of things. It's a lot of cool stuff. Is there a way in which perhaps people can do things like design safety systems? I think one of the things that they suffer with terribly in not so much in Portland, but is when cars get too hot on the inside. So, for instance, you could actually leave, if you have a Jaguar Land Rover of the future, you could leave your dog in the car, and as soon as the temperature got a certain level, it would cool it down. Because this is one of the problems, those sort of things, and those type of things. So if someone came up with those type of ideas where if the car got over a certain amount of degrees, these systems would kick in and they could go for 24 hours or whatever.
These are fantastic ideas.
Or call someone even.
But can you imagine if you were a local company that wanted to add that into the repertoire? Because this isn't just about Jaguar Land Rover. This would benefit every car.
Right.
And that's the important bit, that if you come and work with Jaguar Land Rover, we're going to put you in touch with our colleagues at Toyota and Ford and GM and everywhere else. Because it's really important that these startups, they form a healthy ecosystem. They can sell to everybody.
I keep coming up with these things. I keep thinking about all these things now. You've got my mind.
You need a startup. You need to come and just form one.
Oh, there's so many things I could think of. So again, Matt, tell us how people can get hold of you if they have a company idea of future technology that could go into cars or future things for cars.
So the website is jlrtechincubator.com.
All right. Matt Jones, our guest from Jaguar Land Rover today. Thank you so much. We'll keep you up to date on some of these ideas we've pitched out today and see how they go. We will put the information on our website, so we'll put it on our Facebook and also tweet us if you have questions at Test Miles. We will be back next week. We're here 24/7 with testmiles.com, but next week there'll be another packed show with lots of interesting stuff. I'm Nick Miles.
Throw it in neutral and coast in with testmiles.com.